This is the most difficult search in human history.
We found out 1 hour ago that Ocean Shield had found something.
We will hope. Until such time as the information is verified, I don't want to raise false hopes.
Within the last 90 minutes, we had a report back from Ocean Shield, from the towed ping locator operators on board there.
With time running out, a dramatic development. Potentially one that will help to solve one of the world's greatest aviation mysteries.
This morning we were contacted by the Chinese authorities and advised that Haishun 01 had late yesterday afternoon redetected the signals for 90 seconds within just 2 kilometres of the original detection. This is an important and encouraging lead, but one which I urge you to continue to treat carefully.
Confirmation that Chinese search teams had found something significant.
My understanding is that they're unconfirmed, and look, the point I make is that we are hopeful, but by no means certain. This is the most difficult search in human history.
Today, Chinese patrol ship Haishun 01 discovered a pulse signal with a frequency of 37.5 kHz per second at 25 degrees south latitude and 101 degrees east longitude in the southern Indian Ocean with a black box locator. It is yet to determine whether the signal is related to missing flight MH370.
First, Chinese teams said they had located a ping twice over 2 days. The signal emitting at a frequency of 37.5 kHz. That's exactly the same frequency as the locator device on the black box would be transmitting at.
We cannot confirm that the pulse signal detected this afternoon belongs to the black box of Malaysian Airlines MH370. The information compiled is being analysed by China's Maritime Rescue Centre, and they are waiting for professional confirmation of the nature of the signal.
The first detection has been backed up by a second sound. The Australians say they've heard something too.
This has only happened within the last 90 minutes. We had a report back from Ocean Shield, from the towed ping locator operators on board there, that they had picked up a detection. It is very, very early days, and the note of caution that Air Chief Marshal Houston mentioned before, I would reiterate. They are still investigating that. We are not yet sure whether she'll be tasked to remain there, if it's promising she will, to investigate that particular remission or detection. If it's not, then I expect she will be retasked down towards the Haishun 1's position.
Obviously, we take any reported leads in the search very seriously. That's why today Royal Australian Air Force assets will deploy to assist in further examining the acoustic signals in the vicinity of where the Chinese ship has detected the sounds.
Now it's a race against time. The faint clicks being transmitted from the locator will begin to die out over the next day or so, and after that, an almost impossible task will be made even harder.
This is a standard civil underwater locator beacon. This is the signal that the Chinese have reported they think they've heard. There is one of these attached to the flight data recorder, another to the cockpit voice recorder. There's 2 so-called black boxes, and it's activated by this water switch when it goes into the water, driven by a battery inside. and that has a minimum 30-day life.
These few days are of great importance in finding the black box. The beacon's battery is running out of power after Sunday, which will make it even more difficult to locate the black box.
The sounds have been heard on the southern search corridor, off the western coast of Australia. They've been detected further north to previous areas. Reports came yesterday that a Chinese ship picked up signals twice at 37.5 kilohertz, the frequency emitted by a black box. Now, an Australian vessel's picked up what's been described as an acoustic event, 300 nautical miles to the north. The language is tempered, hopes have been raised and dashed too many times before. But away from the cameras and the intense media glare, there is genuine optimism that 1 month after the plane's disappearance, this is the one real breakthrough.
The latitude and longitude is in the general area, the frequency is correct, and the makers of the hydrophone, Teledyne in the United States, they say it is technically possible to have picked up that signal with the handheld hydrophone that we understand they were using from a small boat off one of their search ships. So it ticks all the boxes as being possible, technically possible. Whether it is, we have to get verification of that.
And that belief that these sounds are being transmitted by the missing plane's black box is shared by other marine experts. One theory that the sound could have come from other marine machinery or even ocean wildlife is being dismissed.
The signal they're getting is the right frequency, and the fact it's intermittent, ironically, is probably good news as well, because you're not going to get a clear signal from that sort of depth. There are other things in the ocean that transmit at these wavelengths. A lot of oceanographic equipment have transponders on them, but they should have a fairly good feel as to whether there is other kit in the area doing this. I guess my main concern is actually knowing what they heard and how they confirmed the frequency. Was it digitally recorded, in which case they can play it back, or was it someone just listening and guessing?
So with this in mind, the mission is being ramped up. There's new focus, more direction. 25 military and civilian planes have been dispatched to the new search zone. And on and underneath the water, the Royal Navy will add its considerable expertise to the hunt for the black box. Survey ship HMS Echo and submarine HMS Tireless have been speeding towards the search area. They are both well equipped with specialist state-of-the-art sonar detecting equipment that could tilt the odds in favour of the search teams.
The black box is believed to be about 4.5 kilometres down. That's shallow enough, although it's not shallow, it's shallow enough to detect a black box. You can detect them down to about 6 kilometres. There have been, if the Chinese finding is verified, then it's already been picked up twice, but further ships are required to confirm the finding, and they will work together. The HMAS Ocean Shield, which is towing the pinger detector, and then HMS Echo, which is a very sophisticated survey ship, which has got a side scan sonar and various other sensors. But also Echo has machinery for profiling the ocean bottom, so it can be improving the chart of the bottom of the ocean there at the same time, which is going to be very, very useful if it is the black box and if we then want to bring it up.
If, and this is still a very big if, these signals are from the beacon on MH370's black box, the next stage of the operation can begin.
Once they've found it, then the recovery operation takes place. Now, it may sound odd, but that is probably going to be the most straightforward operation in this whole event. It certainly will not include direct manpower on the seabed. They might put a mini submarine down like they did with the Titanic, but that won't do anything other than help identification. Recovery can be by a number of means. There's the quite sophisticated means they used with Air France, for example, using ROVs, and there are other proven techniques using high-speed winches with grabs on the end and a camera to guide the people on the surface. So there are a variety of techniques available. Even HMS Echo is equipped with a grab. I'm not sure of its capability, but at least it's a start.
But before any talk of recovery, the search teams will want to make certain, be 100% sure that they have discovered the fate of the missing airliner. Because watching closely are hundreds of desperate families still waiting for news, anything that will tell them conclusively once and for all what has happened to their loved ones. Away from the sophisticated radars, the expensive hardware, and the heightened expectations of the search teams, a poignant reminder, if one were needed, that this is and has always been a devastating human tragedy. 239 people are missing, probably dead. Their families left behind without answers, desperate to know when they can begin to grieve. So today they turn to the power of prayer once again, as they have many times before, to help them cope with their ordeal.
We are sad over the incident, and we are calling a mass prayer today to give a positive energy, to give the strength to our nation and the search rescue team to find and locate MH370 as soon as possible.
The Australian and Chinese authorities know the information about the pings are significant. The probability is that pulse is being emitted from the aircraft's black box beacon. But they know too that hopes have been raised and crushed so many times in the past month. Satellite images of debris turning out to be nothing more than ocean junk. But this time it's thought it's different. They know they're getting closer. But the language has to be tempered and the words very carefully chosen.
Till such time as the information is verified, I don't want to raise false hopes. We've had some evidence of that in the past, and so given that the families are still grieving, that they're very anxious, it's a very distressing time for them, I think that we should wait until Angus Houston confirms one way or another as to whether this is a lead that we can follow, whether it will change the search and rescue mission in any way. But I know that our coordination efforts will continue today.
Speculation and unconfirmed reports can see the loved ones of the passengers put through terrible stress, and I don't want to put them under any further emotional distress at this very difficult time.
But try as they might to manage expectation, any indication, however remote, that the search for truth is making progress raises the hopes of the families, believing that they will soon discover what happened to their loved ones.
It will forever be painful. Anybody you lose, anybody you do not know what happened to them, it will always be very painful. All of us want to know what happened to the plane. I mean, it has been a month, and I mean, it's a good sign until they actually study the evidence and what it belongs to. And is it belonging to MH370? Until then, we will hope, you know.
They know that this new information could still very much turn into another false lead, but it's hard to stop believing when you have nothing else.
It's good news. I hope the news will be confirmed and they manage to find the black box quickly, so we will know the truth.
The Malaysian authorities too are careful with their language, knowing hundreds hang on their every word.
We were informed about the being detected by the Chinese ship and also by the Australian ship. And they are there now, they are at the area now, and we have to verify the ping, the detection.
But what do you know about the frequency that it emitted? Is it similar?
They say the frequency is 37.5. 37.5. That is the frequency for such equipment. So we have to verify. We're not sure yet. So there are one or two ships going there to verify, and we have not got any information yet. Of course, we're going to hope for the best, but then everything needs to be confirmed, needs to be verified. So we are not saying that's it, you know. So still have to be verified.
And until that verification is made, for some there is still hope. Philip Wood, a 50-year-old American, was returning to Beijing following a business trip. He was about to leave China for good to begin a new life with Sarah Bejak. She was at home packing boxes, waiting for him to walk through the front door when she heard the news.
I do not believe the plane has crashed. I have yet to find any expert who I've talked to that off record has said that they believe the plane has crashed. Everybody believes it's been taken. I absolutely believe he's still alive. I still feel his presence. I am not a metaphysical weirdo. I'm a very grounded, practical, logical thinking person, but I still feel him in the same way I have always felt him. That has not changed. You know, I am prepared for if something else happens. If tomorrow I get the notice that they've indeed found the wreckage of the plane and Philip's body is still strapped in its seat, then I will accept that and I will move along and deal with grief in a normal grieving cycle. But this is not a normal grieving cycle. We don't have resolution and there's no proof, and everything that I've heard, both with my head and with my intuition, points that there is some other resolution. I can only do so much to impact the situation at this point, and the little I can do is to have an ongoing conversation with media and to continue to drive forward the social media efforts of getting individuals to engage through the Finding Philip Wood Facebook page and things. But the other side of my feeling is of an increasing level of anxiety that we don't have any further progress on this. I mean, it's been closing in on 4 weeks, and we actually don't know for sure anything different than what we knew on the 8th. We really don't. And I think we need a few more truth seekers right now and a little less jump on the bandwagon from our governments and, frankly, in some ways, even our media. There's no logical explanation to support that this plane was taken only to drop it into the water. There's none. There's no evidence. They've found hundreds of pieces of debris. None of them are related to the plane. You know, more and more we have to be a little realistic here that says there's got to be another path that was taken.
Sarah's heartache is shared by hundreds of other families waiting for news of their loved ones. In all, the passenger manifest included 12 crew and 227 passengers from 14 different countries, including New Zealand, Australia, Iran, America, and Indonesia. 2/3 of the passengers were from China. Among the passengers, 43-year-old father of two, Nikolai Brodsky from Russia, a professional diver and athlete. He had travelled from Indonesia on a diving holiday with colleagues and was making his way home when the flight went missing. Also Swanand Kolekar, a 23-year-old from Mumbai. He was travelling with his mother and father to Beijing to attend his older brother's degree ceremony. Their eldest son waited at the airport for them for several hours. Rodney and Mary Burrows were one of 6 Australians flying on the plane and had been flying to Beijing with another Australian couple. A friend of theirs said they had planned the trip following Rodney's redundancy the previous year. "4 weeks of false leads and 4 weeks of dashed hopes." Now a faint ping in the darkest, deepest depths of the southern Indian Ocean. Could this finally be the breakthrough that will help to solve the mystery of Flight MH370?